What's the 411? Welcome back to Trivia Tuesday, faithful. And tonight, it's 90s night. The team just played on Sunday with the all-white 94 Niners unis, so we had to make it 90s night tonight. And guess what? We're getting jiggy with it. And just like a box of chocolates, you never know what you're going to get tonight on Trivia Tuesday, presented by SAP. Let's get it going. If it is your first time playing Trivia Tuesday with us, welcome. We're excited to have you here. If you're watching on YouTube, welcome. Let us know where you're playing from in the comment section. Now, for our game tonight, there are two ways to play. There is two different platforms you can be watching on YouTube. What you want to do is pull up a second tab. Don't have a cow. It's not going to be too hard. Second tab, go to 49ers.com/Trivia Tuesday, and you're going to scroll down, and that's where you're going to find our interactive answer sheet. As you're hearing all of our questions on YouTube, that's where you're going to type in all of your answers. None of the questions are actually going to be in that answer sheet. You have to listen and watch live either on YouTube or at 49ers.com. And tonight's prize, we are going with a Jimmy Garoppolo signed helmet. So you want to tune in for each round. Make sure you're getting in all those questions. And if you're not watching on YouTube, the second way to play is to actually just go to 49ers.com/Trivia Tuesday. You'll have the player on top with all of our questions. And then right beneath is our interactive way to enter in all of your answers. And then we just added last week the ability to be able to play from the 49ers app. So pull up 49ers.com/Trivia Tuesday and let's get going. So near, far, wherever you are, let's get starting. Game on, round one. All right, round one is our general knowledge. All of our questions tonight are 90s themed. So round one, question one. From January 1st, 1990 to December 31st, 1999, how many Super Bowls did the 49ers win? Could be a trick question. Of course, we know how many great teams the 49ers had in the 90s. How many Super Bowls did they win from January 1st, 1990 to December 31st, 1999? Get your answers in. Make sure you've got 49ers.com/Trivia Tuesday pulled up. Scroll down all the way to our answer sheet. We're still on question one. Go ahead and get started with us right now. And we'll jump into question number two. Who did the 49ers defeat in the game most famously known for the Catch 2? All you need to know is the opponent from that game. Who was it? It's a great game. Obviously, we've got the original Catch here, and we had the Catch 2, and even the Catch 3, but we're talking about the Catch 2. Don't need to know who threw it, who caught it, but who was the opponent that day at Candlestick Park? Question number three. Who did Jerry Rice break the NFL touchdown record against? So we know Jerry's got tons of records in the books, broke most of them in the 80s and 90s, but his NFL most touchdowns scored by a single player in the NFL scored against one specific team, one team that we love to beat. Who was that team? Question number four. What position did the famous Bill Walsh serve for the team back in 1999? He was a great coach for the 49ers throughout the 80s. Retired after Super Bowl 23, then took a little time away from the team, but then rejoined the team in 1999. What was that position? Question number five. What city was Super Bowl 29 played in? Just need to know the city, don't need to know the name of a stadium, who played or anything like that. Just which city was Super Bowl 29 played in? And the last question for round one, which of these former 49ers never started at quarterback for the 49ers in the 1990s? Your options are, and remember, it's who never started for the 49ers in the 1990s. Was it Joe Montana, Steve Young, Steve Bono, Elvis Grbac, Tim Rattay, Jim Druckenmiller, Ty Detmer, or Steve Stenstrom? Which one was it that never started a game for the 49ers in the 1990s? Now we've got all the questions on the board. Get one more review in all of them. Start submitting your questions for round one. Of course, we referenced Super Bowl 29. Would we reference Super Bowl 29 without showing you some highlights from the game? As if. Let's roll it.
This is how confident Mike would be. He would say, this is a touchdown play right here. If we get in this situation, we'll call this. This will be a touchdown. And darn if those things just didn't happen.
Young with a play fake, drops back to throw, deep middle, Waters a great, over the shoulder catch, bounces away again. Oh, what a bonanza! A spectacular touchdown catch by Ricky Waters. Young, straight back drop, quick pass, left flat, Ricky Waters makes the catch, he's in. Touchdown 49ers! Young has got 4 touchdown passes, 4 in the first half. Holy smokes. Back to throw is Young. Drills it across the middle. Catch by Rice. Beats the defender on the play. Touchdown 49ers. The 5th touchdown pass of the game by Steve Young, tied him with Joe Montana for the most in Super Bowl history. Young, quick pass, slant in, Jerry Rice, another touchdown! Steve Young is now number 1 all time with 6 touchdown passes.
Mike Shanahan at the end of the game was upset because it was only 6 touchdown passes, because he wanted 8. You want to know why I love that guy? Because he was at 49, not nearly enough.
Always great to see highlights from a victorious Super Bowl for our San Francisco 49ers, of course, defeating the then San Diego Chargers. But let's get into it. Let's go over the questions from round 1. Question 1, from January 1st, 1990 to December 31st, 1999, how many Super Bowls did the 49ers win? The answer is 2. I know, sort of crazy, but if you look at the specific wording of the question, they won that first one in the 90s, actually from the 1989 season. But as you look at the question, it is how many Super Bowls did they win, starting from January 1st, 1990, where the game played against the San Diego Chargers, the game against the Denver Broncos in the Super Bowl from the 1989 season was actually played on January 28th, 1990, therefore making it 2 Super Bowl championships within the 1990s. Question number 2. Who did the 49ers defeat in the game most famously known for the Catch 2? Had a couple different answers that we would accept, but it was the Green Bay Packers. If you remember, Steve Young drops back. He's been struggling to get passes to Terrell Owens all game long, but he launched it to the end zone. He caught it. Owens against the Green Bay Packers, sending them home and sending the 49ers to the next round of the NFL playoffs. Question number 3, who did Jerry Rice break the NFL touchdown record against? That would be those Raiders. Of course, at the time, they were the Los Angeles Raiders. So if you put any of the answers below here, either Raiders, LA Raiders, Los Angeles Raiders, we would accept that as the correct answer. Question number 4, what position did Bill Walsh serve for the team in 1999? Obviously was a coach. In 1999, he came back as the general manager for your San Francisco 49ers. Question number 5, what city did Super Bowl 29 get played in? Not any different from Super Bowl 54. That would be Miami, Florida. All right, round 1, question 6, last one of this round. Which of these former 49ers never started at quarterback for the team in the 1990s? We've got a slew of names here, and sort of lost within those was Tim Rattay's name. Not necessarily lost, but could have skipped over quickly, like, oh yeah, I remember Tim Rattay back in the 90s, maybe early 2000s, but he actually never joined the team until 2000, played on the team until 2005, therefore never starting for your 49ers in the 1990s. If those were a little hard, don't worry about it. Take a chill pill. We are getting started. We are just getting started tonight, so let's jump into round 2, which is our SAP Stat Zone round. We're getting started in 3, 2, 1. All right, SAP Stat Zone, question number 1. With a record percentage of .594, how many games did head coach Steve Mariucci win with your 49ers? Obviously, great coach, taking over after the legendary George Seifert. And with a record percentage of .594, how many games did head coach Steve Mariucci, Mooch, how many did he win with your 49ers? Question number 2. With 505 total team points, this team led the franchise in points in the 1990s. What season was this? With 505 total points scored by the team, which season did the 49ers lead their franchise record? Again, it's 505 points. Happened in the 1990s. If you have no idea, you get only 9 different options between 1990 and 1999. Go ahead and check those out. Pick your favorite one. 505 total team points. A lot of great teams in the 90s that could have qualified for that. Which one do you think it was? Question number 3. How many times did Bryant Young score a safety in his career for the 49ers? BY, throwing up the safety sign. How many times did he do it in his 49ers career? Take a guess. And question number 4. In what season did Jerry Rice achieve his highest number of single-season receiving yards? Jerry obviously holds so many different records. He's the GOAT for a reason. But which year? Happened in the 90s. It's 90s night, of course. Which season did Jerry Rice achieve his highest number of single-season receiving yards? Question number 5. In his first season as a starter, Jeff Garcia went 225 for 375 in completions. So 225 of 375 in completions for what completion percentage? We're looking for a percentage number. It is a round number, I'll give you that, so you don't need to put any decimal points or anything like that. But in Jeff Garcia's first season as a starter, what was his completion percentage? And finally, question number 6. How many defensive touchdowns did safety Tim McDonald score in the 1990s? This has got to be just his time in the 90s. How many touchdowns, obviously on defense, did he score? We've got all the questions now displayed. Of course, talked about BY, Bryant Young, who was all that and a bag of chips. Let's go over some of the highlights of the great number 97, Bryant Young.
When you walked into the stadium, the fans were ready. The energy, this was it. We had to go out there and win it. This was do or die for us.
It's all us. Leave it all out here, dog. We can pick up the rest on Monday.
We just knew in our hearts that this was our time.
Be courageous, fearless, okay? It's gonna be a physical game. Take it to him, man. Let's get it done today. Let's get it done. I love it. I love you guys. I just want to say that.
Love you too.
Love you too. Yeah. I'm depending on everyone in this locker room. I'm depending on me.
The most dominant player for him has been the rookie Bryant Young as a defensive tackle. Bryant Young gets his first sack. Banks takes a 2-step drop, and they got him.
Big step, baby. Here we go.
Drops back to throw. They got him. A sack. Nailing him back at the 30th. They get him! He's sacked back at the 18-yard line. Sack time. He's going to get sacked. Ryan Young gets the safety. Steps up, starts to run. Tackle. The game is over. Sack time. Bulger takes another sack. Ryan Young. Ryan Young gets another one.
To have our fan support means a whole bunch to us. The complete belief, not having proof of what the future holds, but having that belief in your heart that it'll get done. That's what faithful means, and they stand behind. They're faithful. They're rock.
Great to see BY headed into the San Francisco 49ers Hall of Fame. Of course, once we are able to welcome the faithful back into Levi Stadium and back into the 49ers Museum, we'll be able to check out a brand new statue that'll be put in there of the great Bryant Young. Let's go over those questions from round 2 to our SAP Stat Zone. Question number 1. With a record percentage of .594, how many games did head coach Steve Mariucci win with the 49ers? That would be 57 wins with the 49ers. Obviously a great coach, filling in big shoes for the great George Seifert. Question number 2. With 505 total team points, this team led the franchise in points in the 1990s. What season did this happen? That would be the Super Bowl year, 1994. Question number 3. How many times did Bryant Young score a safety in his career for the 49ers? Of course, BY had played his entire career with your San Francisco 49ers. How many times did he get a safety? That would be 3 different times. Question number 4. In what season did Jerry Rice achieve his highest number of single-season receiving yards? Not 1994, but 1995, the year after the Super Bowl. He set his record for most receiving yards in a single season for his career. Question number 5. In his first season as starter, Jeff Garcia, I'm trying to figure out his completion percentage. He went 225 for 375. What was that a completion percentage of? That would be 60% completion percentage. And finally, question number 6. How many defensive touchdowns did safety Tim McDonald score in the 1990s? That would be 4 times. He was able to get into the end zone from the defensive position. All right, how we doing? If you're watching on YouTube, make sure you're pulled up 49ers.com/Trivia Tuesday. Enter in all your answers there. But if you're on YouTube, let us know how the questions are. Are they really hard? Do we need to take it easier? Do we need to make them a little bit more difficult? We are playing for a Jimmy Garoppolo signed helmet tonight, so I want to make sure the competition is stiff. And we are jumping into round number 3. This, of course, is our video round. We're going to have questions and then a short video. You'll want to pay attention to that video to understand what the questions are asking. So here we go. Question number 1. Name this 49ers running back from the 1990s. Let's roll a clip. And we'll show it to you one more time. Remember, we're just trying to figure out the name of this 49ers running back. It's got to be first and last name and spelling correct. Question number 2. We've got a current 49er. Of course, he was born in the 90s. So what year was this current 49ers player born? I'm sure you all recognize him. Question again is, what year was this current 49ers player born? Question number 3. When the 49ers fans asked for the team to turn the waters on, who were they hoping to see get the ball? Turn the waters on. Turn the waters on. Who was it? Might be giving you a hint with that one. Let's run the clip. And question number 4. What was the most significant reason for Deion Sanders' celebration in this clip? Was it because it was a rivalry game or a revenge game? Those are the 2 options. We made it easy for you. All you got to do is choose either rivalry game or revenge game. Remember to put both. Let's run the clip. Prime time getting into the end zone. Again, was this a rivalry game or a revenge game for Deion specifically? And question number 5. When Kyle Juszczyk scored this touchdown, he was the first 49ers fullback to score in the Super Bowl since who? Let's run the clip. And the question again, we see Juice getting into the end zone from Super Bowl 54. Of course, he's not the first 49ers fullback to score in the Super Bowl. not even the second one, but who was the last 49ers fullback to score in a Super Bowl before Kyle Juszczyk? And question number 6, what is the name of this dance? I'm sure that dance brings back memories for a bunch of us, whether it's just watching him do it on the sidelines, or maybe some of us tried to do it ourselves. If you are, make sure you probably need to get some ice on there afterward. Make sure you stretch that neck out. But what is the name of this dance? Of course, all the questions are now on the board. Take a look at those, review them. Of course, we saw highlights. Running back scoring in question 1 of this round was 49ers versus Vikings back in 1997. Let's look at the full highlights from that great game back in the 90s.
Ball going is there a pot of gold for Steve Young and the Niners. Even though Jerry Rice on the sidelines, Garrison Hurst hopeful to play next week. Terry Kirby had that look this week in practice, and he had that look on the field. Very early, a 20-yard game and a flag on the Vikes. And then Steve Young, he's just smart, Joe, and he feels the pressure.
He feels pressure. Here he almost gets sacked by Randall. He moves around. Now, this is a lefty going to the right and still manages to turn and throw the ball far enough to get an incompletion, not a grounding penalty.
First Vikings possession for Randall Cunningham against Roy Barker and the Niners defense, and Barker says, howdy, and it's a sack and a loss of 10. 3 plays later, Vikings punting. Mitch Hamburger needs some helper. It's a 12-yard punt. And George Stewart, the always photographed and always vociferous special teams coach, very happy because when you give the Niners the ball at the 26-yard line, you know what's going to happen. Young rolls left, finds one of his good buddies and longtime teammate Brent Jones, possibly playing his last game if the Niners don't win. Upended at the 5. Torian Gray makes the hit.
Yeah, but the entire San Francisco receiving corps today was willing to take a lick in order to catch the football.
Brent specifically, he got hurt later in the game. William Floyd, bar none. It's the first touchdown of the game, 7-0 San Francisco. Next Vikings possession, Cunningham. Tell you what, they go for the home run, don't they? Minnesota, it's like Harmon Killebrew trying to hit home runs. They either connect or they don't. And Chris Carter, all he does?
Touchdown.
We're tied at 7. Why was he so open, Tom?
Well, the corner Marquez Pope is playing a double zone. He's assuming that he has help deep. Now you take a look at the safety, Merton Hanks. He read what he thought was screen, took 3 steps up. That's all it took to let the receiver get deep.
The Vikings unravel in the second quarter. Young looking for J.J. Stokes. Torian Gray is flagged for interference. Hey, Stokes had a good game. Referee Bob McElwee says there it is. An unsportsmanlike conduct for Dwayne Rudd because he kicked the flag. And so, from the 1, Young looking for Jones. Corey Fuller tries to make the pick. But look at Jones get the hand in there. But Dixon Edwards called for holding. So, next play first to go from the 1. Terry Kirby, touchdown, 14-7 San Francisco, 61 yards. For the Niners, 31 yards helped by the Vikings. Vikes try to answer. Cunningham, pressure. Norton! It's Ken Norton! He could go all the way. 23 yards, and then it's a left to the face and a right to the jaw. I think they're down, Tom. They're down. I think they're down, Tom. What happened here? Oh, this is the view from the goalpost. Randall off the back foot, Joe, not a good thing.
No, not a very good thing at all. I mean, it's darn lucky that it hit the ground and it wasn't picked off again.
Here he's struggling, needing a first down. Randall scrambling. This is what he can do. But the Niners stop him short of the first down. It's a third down play. And on that play, Tommy, Jake Reed didn't see him.
You're going to take a look at Jake Reed going down the right sideline. Again, you can see the corner turned him over to a safety who wasn't close enough to pick him up. Jake Reed wide open. Randall Cunningham never saw him.
All right, so here we go. Second half, 21-7 at the half. 3rd and 3, false start Vikes. 3rd and 8, Tom.
False start Vikes.
3rd and 13, Joe.
False start Vikes? Why not?
Meanwhile, the 49ers look a little different. 4th and 1 at the 40. The fake. Oh, they're going to throw for it and play action. And it's Young to Brent Jones, 16 yards, setting up a Gary Anderson field goal, 24-7 San Francisco. Vikes, though, down 17. Robert Smith, almost non-existent in the first half, runs 18 yards. First rushing first down of the game for Minnesota. What's wrong with that? It's midway through the third quarter. Harmon Killebrew, swinging for the fences. It's Jake Reed, 53 yards, which sets up 3rd and goal from the 3. Randall to Chris Carter, all he does?
Catch touchdown.
And, he almost got 3 feet in on this play,
Exactly, Chris. As you take another look at it, you can see right there he has control. There's 1-2, and that would have been his 3rd foot in.
Yeah, no problem. It's 24-14. Terry Kirby. Big game for Kirby, 100-yard day. Gains 22 yards. Same drive. J.J. Stokes was impressive. Terrell Owens. Look at this play. He makes Joe to dance into the end zone, and then Steve Young and Terrell Owens.
Work on it. Steve mesmerizes him.
Steve's head's not moving.
Young to pass to Brent Jones, popped by Robert Griffith. The clean hit on Brent Jones, receives stitches in his tongue. Brent, a good talker. That won't hold him back. It's a tough shot. He's taken him over the years, and he comes right on back. Didn't play in this game. Terry Kirby back in the end zone at 120 yards, career high, putting the finishing touches on the Niners win.
And we're back. Let's go over the questions from round number 3. Here we go. We'll show the clip as well. Name this 49ers running back. Who is it? Of course, that's Terry Kirby. Question number 2. What year was this current 49ers player born? If you smell what the Niners are cooking, of course, that's Stone Cold Kittle. That's George Kittle. He was actually born in 1993. So if you had that, you got that right. George Kittle, born 1993. Question number 3. When 49ers fans asked the team to turn the waters on, who were they talking about? Let's run the clip again. And of course, that would be the great Ricky Watters, scoring lots of touchdowns for the 49ers, especially in that run to the Super Bowl and in the Super Bowl against the Chargers as well. Question number 4, what was the most significant reason for Deion Sanders' celebration in this clip? Rivalry game, revenge game, rivalry game, revenge game. It was, of course, a revenge game. Deion Sanders going back to Atlanta to face his old team in the Falcons. Picks off the quarterback, takes it all the way to the house. Of course, at the time, Deion called it the house that he built. So it was definitely a revenge game for Deion Sanders. Question number 5. When Kyle Juszczyk scored this touchdown in the Super Bowl, he was the first 49ers fullback to score in a Super Bowl since who? Let's run the clip. It's the first time a fullback has scored for the 49ers since the 1994 season when William Floyd got into the end zone during the Super Bowl. And finally, for round number 3, what is the name of this dance? That's the funky chicken dance. I'm sure all of you have great memories of watching that dance on the sideline every time he was scoring, every time getting interceptions, fumble recoveries, or just feeling it out, having a great game since we had so many great teams in the 1990s. All right, and that'll lead us right into round number 4, and it's 90s night, so we had to bring back the pop culture round. All of our questions are related to the 1990s and, of course, our San Francisco 49ers. Question number 1. In 1994, when, of course, the 49ers would go on to win the Super Bowl, what was the highest grossing movie of the year? So if you're breaking this down a little bit easier, back in 1994, what was the highest grossing movie of the year? Won the Super Bowl. I'm sure almost everyone, if not everyone, has seen this movie. Even if you weren't born in the 90s, you were born well after the 90s, playing Trivia Tuesday with us tonight, you've probably seen this movie, or maybe even a remake of this movie. Question number 2. In 1993, this former 49ers player played the lead role in the movie Kindergarten Ninja. I don't know if any of you have ever heard of Kindergarten Ninja. I hadn't until just the other day, but if you've seen Kindergarten Ninja, you'll know that this San Francisco 49ers player, former player, was in the lead role. Who was that in the lead role? Question number 3. According to Billboard, this Bay Area native holds the #1 song of the decade. Of course, the song, I'll give you the song. It's Smooth, featuring Rob Thomas, who is the artist for the song Smooth, which is considered the #1 song of the decade. Question number 4. In the famous commercial, head coach George Seifert told the audience to blame it on what? Blame it on the. I'm not going to give you the answer, but if you can think back, George Seifert in a commercial in the 1990s, he was telling people to blame it on what? Question number 5. To launch a new trilogy of Star Wars films in 1999, Lucasfilm, which is located in San Francisco, recorded crowd noise at which NFL stadium? Give you a little bit of a hint. Lucasfilm is in San Francisco, but maybe they recorded games somewhere else, the sound from a game anywhere else in the country. They did go to an NFL stadium to get some sound for that famous pod racing scene in Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. Which NFL stadium did they go to record sound? And finally, the last question of our pop culture round. Which 49ers player turned down a role in the movie There's Something About Mary? As we know, Brett Favre had a pivotal role in that movie if you've seen it, but it was actually supposed to go to a former San Francisco 49ers player. Who was it? All the questions are now on the board. Take a review, get those answers in. Of course, try to figure out what that movie Kindergarten Ninja was about. If you haven't figured out what that movie is or who starred in it, let's go ahead and watch the trailer for Kindergarten Ninja.
But I have never ever seen anyone with so much disrespect for the law. I hereby send you to serve 90 days community service. You will serve your time teaching children.
Must be from one central gang in the area. Sarge, these guys are organized. They're popping up in neighborhoods all over.
And it is people like me that have made this country what it is today.
Steele, don't be stupid. Just because you know a few kung fu moves, don't think you can take down his whole organization.
Blake Steele is here? Take him out!
Looks like a very familiar face in the starring role there. We'll go over the answers in a second here. Figure out who that was if you didn't quite recognize him. It wasn't quite the 80s in his playing days, but before he had taken on a role as an executive with the team, which may be a bit of a hint. Looks like a fun film either way. It was direct to video, so if you still have a VHS and you're looking for it, might actually be able to find it on YouTube these days. All right, you want answers? You can't handle answers. Just kidding. Let's go over them. Question number 1. In 1994, when the 49ers would go on to win the Super Bowl, what was the highest grossing movie of the year? That would be The Lion King. Of course, we've got lots of great clips of Joe Staley singing his favorite songs from The Lion King, whether it be Hakuna Matata, The Circle of Life. His kids love it. They were born well after the 90s. All you have to do is figure out what that highest grossing film was from 1994, The Lion King. Question number 2, in 1993, this former 49ers player played the lead role in the movie Kindergarten Ninja. We just saw the trailer. I'm sure you all recognized him. That would be the great Dwight Clark. Question number 3, according to Billboard, this Bay Area native holds the #1 song of the decade. The song, of course, is Smooth, featuring Rob Thomas. Who is the artist? That would be none other than Santana. Question number 4, in the famous commercial, head coach George Seifert told the audience to blame it on what? Blame it on the Bossa Nova. Blame it on the Bossa Nova. I am familiar with the commercial, not as familiar with the song, so sorry if I was off key there. Always great to see George Seifert having fun. Question number 5, to launch a new trilogy of Star Wars films back in 1999, Lucasfilm recorded crowd noise at what NFL stadium? Of course, it was the home of the 49ers, Candlestick Park, and not real bonus points, but definitely some brownie points if you put 3Com Park. We would also accept that as well, since that was the official title of the stadium at the time in 1999. And finally, question number 6, which 49ers player turned down a role in the movie There's Something About Mary? That would be the quarterback, Steve Young, in the movie that actually came out. She turns down Brett Favre because she's such a great faithful. She's a member of 49ers fandom. Could not go back to Brett Favre. Originally, they wanted Steve Young to play that role. Fun fact for you. And that is going to take us through our pop culture round of 49ers trivia. We're at the halfway point. Let us know how you're doing. Hope you all are having fun. And I'll tell you what I want, what I really, really want. I really, really, really want to start round 5, which of course is My Name Is. Of course, My Name Is, all we need is a name. It could be a first and last name for all of these. You will have an option in one of them, but we're going to present a description of a person or player. All you have to do is put the proper spelling, first and last name. Let's get into it. Question number 1. I hold the record for most passing touchdowns in a single Super Bowl. He's a 49ers player. He's got passing touchdowns. You may be able to deduce what position he plays. And he holds the record for most passing touchdowns in a single Super Bowl. Question number 2. I caught 20 passes in what would be the last game played by Jerry Rice in a 49ers uniform. Jerry Rice's last game, this player caught 20 passes. Was it Jerry himself? Could be a trick question. Maybe I'm setting you up with that as well. 20 passes caught in Jerry Rice's last game. Question number 3. Other than Steve Young, I was the only quarterback to start for the 49ers in 1995 and 1996 seasons. Who is the only other quarterback to start for the 49ers in 1995 and 1996? First and last name needed. Gotta have the proper spelling. Question number 4. Name one of 2 players who scored 3 touchdowns in Super Bowl 29 for the 49ers. It was a crazy game. Obviously, the 49ers ended up blowing out the then San Diego Chargers, and 2 different players ended up scoring 3 touchdowns that day. You have a choice of one or the other. You don't need to put both. Just need to put one first and last name from one player or first and last name of the other player. Again, 2 different players did it. All you have to do is name one. Question number 5. In my 1 season with the 49ers, I also played for the San Francisco Baseball Giants. Who am I? Someone athletic enough to play both baseball and football. Played for the 49ers, only played with the Niners for 1 season, but in that season he also played for the San Francisco Giants in baseball. Who is that? And finally, question number 6. After winning 2 Super Bowls with the Dallas Cowboys, I came to the 49ers to play linebacker. Came from those Cowboys, came over to the Niners. He'd already won a couple Super Bowls, trying to extend his how many Super Bowls he'd won in his career. Wants to do it with the 49ers. Who was that player? All the questions are on the board. And of course, we talked about different players who signed with the team in the 90s. Let's go back and review what and how the great primetime Deion Sanders ended up with your 49ers.
Deion Sanders' 5-year run in Atlanta came to an end in 1994 when he signed a 1-year deal with San Francisco. Having lost in the previous 2 NFC Championship games to the rival Dallas Cowboys, the 49ers were a franchise in need of that intangible spark, and Primetime was glad to provide it.
When he arrived in the San Francisco 49ers clubhouse and locker room, it was like parachuting a rock star into that entire team. Everybody stopped to see what Deion was doing.
When we first signed him, I said, oh, here we go. Here we go. Because, I knew about his, his entourage, all of that. I thought that would hurt the 49ers, but I think in turns, it helped the 49ers.
Deion changed the vibe of the 49ers. Until Deion came, they had flashy players, but they were always about, we're going to do it the 49er way. Deion came in and said, no way, man, we're taking that to the next level. We're going to tell the world how good we are, and then we're going to back it up.
George Seifert handcrafted that defense. It was an extremely complicated defense. It was rare that you would just line up and say, we're playing cat coverage. But, I mean, that's my cat. That's your cat. Go get him. Well, that's what Deion did. That's what he excelled at. That was a big step for George. And he finally turned over the asylum to the inmates.
I think everybody started to have a little bit more fun on the football field, to be a little bit more, creative, and I think it was because of Deion.
Entering Week 7, the 49ers were 4-2, tied atop the NFC West with none other than the Atlanta Falcons. And Sanders was set to make his much-anticipated homecoming to the city he had spurned, amid tension as ripe as a Georgia peach.
We had got into it a little bit, had some words, because I was hurt because he was leaving. We thought, at least I thought, we're going to go out together. And then once he left and went to the Nemesis, he could win anywhere else. So it was a lot of bad water spilled in.
You can feel the tension for that game even before it started. It reminded me of going to a great prize fight. You just knew something was going to happen. And you also knew that Deion was going to do something dramatic because Deion always does.
Oh, here's Rison and Sanders going at it. It's a fight. Oh, baby. Oh, they were throwing haymakers at each other.
He had already jabbed me in my eye, you know what I'm saying? So I had to come get a little jab back. And then next thing I know, we were jabbing and slapping and jabbing and slapping.
Rison and Sanders' second quarter spat, however, was merely the undercard. The main event was still to come.
And he throws, intercepted. Is he inbounds, Deion? Down the right side, yes. He's to the 50. They can't stop him. He can high step this one half the field. He waits to the 10, though, and walks into the end zone, does another dance. Touchdown 49ers.
I think that one probably will be shown forever with him, high stepping, hand behind his back for about 96 yards, pointing at the Atlanta bench.
The Georgia Dome just absolutely exploded. Then it's after the game. And we're standing there talking to Deion, and Deion says out of nowhere,
"This is my house. I built this, and this is my house. I don't care if I'm with the Falcons or not. This is my house, and this will always be my house. Now let's continue."
And after that, it was like, you know what? I can retire now because there's nothing that's going to be bigger than this in the history of sports.
The 1994 season was arguably Sanders' finest. With 6 interceptions returned for over 300 yards, 3 of them taken in for touchdowns, he became just the 4th cornerback to receive Defensive Player of the Year honors. But more than that, he had led the 49ers back to the NFC Championship for another rematch with the force he was hired to help overthrow.
Prime helped San Fran big time. Without Deion on that defensive side of the football field, I think Michael Irvin would have had a field day. Deion made some big plays.
Aikman straight back drop. Pumps goes way down the left side, and Deion Sanders has an interception.
There were a number of plays in that game to where I thought we had a chance for Michael on a big play to where Deion would be able to close on the ball and make a play on it. One of which he probably got away with pass interference, which might have changed the outcome of it.
Sanders was all over Urban, elbows to the chin.
Phil will say that I was interfered with, but Deion will say, unless I see laundry on the crowd, it didn't happen. And if Deion Sanders is not on that team, we easily come back and win that game.
In Super Bowl 29, Sanders was key to San Francisco's 23-point rout of the San Diego Chargers, and also became the first man ever to play in both the World Series and a Super Bowl. The 49ers were back on top and had proven how valuable prime time could truly be.
It was clearly the most amazing year he ever had on the field that year in 1994 for the 49ers. He was a huge difference maker for that team. You could argue they bought themselves a Super Bowl with Deion Sanders. That's something Jerry Rice doesn't want to hear. But Deion Sanders' impact on that team and its ability to win a Super Bowl is unquestionable.
Great to see prime time putting on the red and gold, obviously bringing a championship to the city of San Francisco. Let's go over those questions from round 5. I hold the record for most passing touchdowns in a single Super Bowl. Who is that? He broke Joe Montana's record. That would be Steve Young. Question 2. I caught 20 passes and would be the last game played by Jerry Rice in a 49ers uniform. Who was it? Was it Jerry himself? It was actually Terrell Owens. Number 81 went off in that last game, caught 20 passes, ends up breaking Jerry Rice's record for most passes caught in a single game. T.O. caught 20 passes. Question number 3. Other than Steve Young, I was the only quarterback to start for the 49ers in 1995 and 1996. Who was that? That would be, you're going to remember him now, Elvis Grbac. Of course, stepped in and played, was backup for Steve Young, and then stepped in and played after a few injuries to Steve in 95 and 96. Question number 4. Name one of 2 players who scored 3 touchdowns in Super Bowl 29 for the 49ers. We talked about it. Who are they? Jerry Rice and Ricky Watters both got into the end zone 3 times. We mentioned William Floyd earlier in the show. That's at least 7 total touchdowns scored. Obviously, a huge game against San Diego Chargers to bring a championship back to the Bay Area. Question number 5. In my 1 season with the 49ers, I also played for the San Francisco Baseball Giants. Who am I? We watched the clip of him joining the 49ers. That would be primetime himself, Deion Sanders, 2-sport athlete. Of course, he was with the Falcons. He also played for the Braves. And when he came to the Niners, he was able to stay at Candlestick Park for some games in baseball as well. And finally, question number 6. After winning 2 Super Bowls with the Dallas Cowboys, I came to the 49ers to play linebacker. That would be Ken Norton Jr., coming over and making a huge impact for the 49ers, bringing also part of that team that brought a championship to the Bay Area in 1994. And that is going to wrap question number 5. We're getting to the end of the show, and just when I think I'm out, they pull me right back in. Let's jump into round number 6 of Trivia Tuesday. This is our audio round. So we're going to present questions visually, but you won't actually be able to see any video. You're going to have to listen. So turn the volume up, pump up the sound, turn it up. We are getting ready for round 6, which is our audio round. Question is, what number did this player wear? On the clip.
Owens! Caught it! He caught it!
And we'll listen to it one more time. What number did this player wear?
Owens! He caught it!
Question number 2. Whose record did Jerry Rice break on this play? Let's listen for it.
Is trailing him, and they're gonna go his way, and it's Jerry Rice is just unstoppable.
Well, if you stayed up late tonight and sacrificed a little sleep, you can tell everybody you saw it live. You saw NFL history.
We're looking for the person who previously held the record before Jerry Rice broke that record on the sound. We'll listen to it one more time.
Is trailing him. And they're going to go his way. And he got it. The record. He did it. Jerry Rice is just unstoppable.
Well, if you stayed up late tonight and sacrificed a little sleep, you can tell everybody you saw it live. You saw NFL history.
Question number 3. Who says this iconic line from Super Bowl 29?
Someone take the monkey off our back, please! Oh, it was a gorilla! It's gone forever!
You gotta love it.
And again, we'll listen to it one more time. Who is the person who says this?
Someone take the monkey off our back, please! Oh, it was a gorilla! It's gone forever!
You gotta love it.
Question number 4. There's the famous 39-day speech. I'm sure many of you have heard about it, but what event was in 39 days that prompted Steve Young to give a 39-day speech in the 94 season? We'll listen to the clip.
My point was, whatever it takes from this moment on, every minute that you're awake, and even the minutes that you're asleep, make them count, because we have one thing in mind. You know, on the practice field, at night, at home, whatever you do, every minute's going to be about making sure that the Super Bowl happens.
All you have to do is name the event itself. What was it that prompted Steve Young to give a 39-day speech? Question number 5. Whose superstitions are being described here?
Everything that he did. I mean, the way he would blow a lifesaver 3 times before he put it in his mouth. He'd blow through it 3 times. He would come into the locker room. He'd walk around, say hello to everyone game day, and then he would go. He disappeared. Then he'd come back with just his slacks on, no shirt, and he'd walk around and just kind of look at guys. Then he'd come back around again. He would always do that. When he walked out into the practice field, right down to 50, around the SF, back to the 50, he did that. Travel, same gate. Same flight attendants.
What do you mean same gate?
We would fly out of gate 81, out of SFO, no matter where we went.
What
And we'll go through it one more time. Whose superstitions are these?
I mean, everything that he did. I mean, the way he would blow a lifesaver 3 times before he put it in his mouth. He'd blow through it 3 times. He would come into the locker room. He'd walk around, say hello to everyone game day. And then he would go, he disappeared. Then he'd come back with just his slacks on, no shirt, and he'd walk around and just kind of look at guys. Then he'd come back around again. He would always do that. When he walked out into the practice field, right down to 50, around the SF, back to the 50, he'd do that. Travel, same gate. Same flight attendants.
What do you mean same gate?
We would fly out of gate 81, out of SFO, no matter where we went.
And the last question for Trivia Tuesday presented by SAP, our 90s Night's last question. Who is the play-by-play announcer for this play back in 1995?
Hand off to LaVille. It's a reverse to Rice, who bobbles the ball, and he's passing. Way down, all alone at the goal line. Dump! Touchdown, 49ers! I don't believe it.
Does he do it all or what?
A touchdown pass.
Does he do it all?
We have Greg Papineau, we've had Ted Robinson, but who is this play-by-play announcer? Let's run it again.
Hand off to LaVille. It's a reverse to Rice, who bobbles the ball, and he's passing. Way down, all alone at the goal line. Dump! Touchdown, 49ers! I don't believe it.
Does he do it all or what?
A touchdown pass.
Does he do it all?
And all of the questions are now on the board. Take a look at those. Make sure you get all of those answers in on our interactive play sheet, 49ers.com/Trivia Tuesday. Of course, we've made lots of references to Super Bowl 29 since the 49ers did win it in the 1994 season. Now, this is an unofficial question, but can you guess who the halftime performance was for Super Bowl 29 when the 49ers beat those San Diego Chargers? Let's check it out. It's not your typical Super Bowl halftime show like we saw back in the day. Let's check it out.
the trophy.
My temple shall be doomed for eternity. Now, look into my eyes.
Well, Indiana Jones, you got your trophy back. So now tell me, sugar, what's next?
I'm giving it to the winner of Super Bowl 29.
Well, that's the right attitude, baby.
Indiana Jones halftime show sounds like the coolest thing ever. The Disneyland Resort was preparing to open up the Indiana Jones adventure, the Temple of the Hidden Eye. So they had a huge halftime performance, as you saw there. And obviously, our 49ers received the Lombardi Trophy from Indy himself. Gotta love the 90s. Let's go over those questions from round number 6, our audio round. What number did this player wear? Here's the clip.
Owens! Caught it! He caught it! He caught it! He caught it!
Of course, it's T.O., and he rocked number 81 for the 49ers. Question number 2. Whose record did Jerry Rice break on this play?
Is trailing him. And they're going to go his way. And it's a record. He did it. Jerry Rice is just unstoppable.
Well, if you stayed up late tonight and sacrificed a little sleep, you can tell everybody you saw it live. You saw NFL history.
That would be the great Jim Brown. Question number 3. Who says this iconic line?
Someone take the monkey off my back, please. Oh, it was a gorilla. It's gone forever.
You gotta love it.
Steve Young, he finally got the monkey off his back, winning the Super Bowl, making him a champion as the starting quarterback for the 49ers. Question number 4. What event was in 39 days that prompted Steve Young to give the 39-day speech in the 94 season?
My point was, whatever it takes from this moment on, every minute that you're awake, and even the minutes that you're asleep, make them count, because we have one thing in mind. You know, on the practice field, at night, at home, whatever you do, every minute's going to be about making sure that the Super Bowl happens.
Of course, we just talked about it. That would be the Super Bowl, 39 days out, letting the team know that there was nothing that was going to stop them from being there as long as they all committed. Question number 5. Whose superstitions are being described here?
I mean, everything that he did. I mean, the way he would blow a lifesaver 3 times before he put it in his mouth. He'd blow through it 3 times. He would come into the locker room. He'd walk around, say hello to everyone game day, and then he would go. He disappeared. Then he'd come back with just his slacks on, no shirt, and he'd walk around and just kind of look at guys. Then he'd come back around again. He would always do that. When he walked out into the practice field, right down to 50, around the SF, back to the 50, he did that. Travel, same gate. Same flight attendants.
What do you mean same gate?
We would fly out of gate 81 out of SFO, no matter where we went.
He's the first head coach for the 49ers in the 90s. That would be George Seifert. Grew up in San Francisco, actually worked games at Kezar Stadium, and had a whole set of superstitions to make sure that the team was ready to play and could put its best on the field every week. And finally, who is the play-by-play announcer for the 49ers back in 1995?
And off to LaVille. It's a reverse to Rice, who bobbles the ball, and he's passing. Way down, all alone at the goal line. Stop! Touchdown 49ers! I don't believe it.
Does he do it all or what?
A touchdown pass.
Does he do it all?
That voice, of course, is Joe Starkey. Hope you all had fun tonight. Let us know how you did in the comment section. Start submitting those answer sheets. We're going to pick a winner. Like I said, we've got a signed Jimmy Garoppolo helmet that we're going to be shipping out to our lucky winner from tonight. Best score, submitted in the best time. We're going to get that out. Of course, you'll want to follow all of our social media handles at 49ers on Twitter, 49ers, San Francisco 49ers on Facebook, at 49ers on Instagram. We're going to be announcing our winner on Twitter here shortly once we get all those answer sheets submitted. Hope you all had fun tonight. Of course, it's 90s night. We took it to infinity and beyond. If you had fun today, my name is Nick. As we end off tonight, remember, wash those hands, wear a mask if you're going out, and we'll see you soon. Can't wait to see you, faithful. We miss you. We'll see you next time.